Yo, what's up, you guys? So, welcome back to the channel. Today, I got another video for you guys. So, today, I'm going to be reviewing GTA 5. So, you guys to know that in September of this year, the game turned 10 years old. And yes, basically, you guys to know that the game turned 10 years old. And, like, literally, like, just to let you guys know that basically, well, it's been over 10 years since, GTA 5 released. And it's became literally, like, what's called one of the popular games in history since, like, when it was first announced in 2011. And then like literally what's called we end up actually getting a second trailer in 2012, and then in 2013 we end up getting a gameplay trailer, the official trailer, and then well the game finally released. And then literally basically 10 years later people are still playing the game because well it's actually popular. And now the reason why the game became popular, well, here's things. So starting off, basically the first time I actually played the game was actually in 2014, and like I was still, I guess, in junior high. And yes, I actually played this game when I was in junior high, and like literally I played it like on the Xbox 360 because like I actually I did actually had was called like literally like was called they actually played the game on the Xbox 360, and then I actually ended up playing it on the PlayStation 3, and then I ended up actually playing it on the PS4 and also the Xbox One like a couple years later. And then like literally, well, since with the PS5 came out, I was called haven't got the was called haven't what's called played it yet. So literally like, well, discussing about the game, yeah, like I did actually enjoy playing this game. Like literally the first the first time I played it, it was like a lot of fun. Until literally like basically since well, literally actually what's called honestly this game was actually pretty great. I'm like since literally like since when the game came out, I was in elementary school, so yeah, I wasn't really old enough to play the game. And honestly, well, what's called 10 years 10 years later, this game is still what's called popular. And also since literally with this month, like literally with Rockstar dropped the trailer for the next GTA game, which is GTA 6. And well, since literally the game's gonna come out until 2025, I mean literally it seems that well, we're already gonna be finishing off the era of both GTA 5 and GTA Online. So basically throughout the past 10 years, the game actually was called took over the took over, since basically people want to see, oh yeah, cool, could we actually get to see the next GTA game? But literally, basically, nothing happened. And basically, well, in 2018, we actually getting what's called the next installment in the Red Dead series, which was Red Dead Redemption 2. And literally, that kind of what's called did took over, but literally, I guess but literally both what's called Grand Theft Online was actually still taking over because it's actually became one of the what's called popular online multiplayer games, like what's called in history. So it's basically online became popular since when it first really came out in 2013. And honestly, well, like 10 years later it still is because Rockstar are actually adding updates, etc. And well, literally basically, yeah, like literally basically online is still became popular like 10 years later. But I guess that people are kind of tired of the updates, and then I guess that they just want the next what's called like what's called the next Grand Theft Auto game, which is GTA 6. And since literally they finally announced what's called they finally revealed the trailer, I'm like, hey, at least that we're actually gonna be moving on to the next GTA game, which is GTA 6. And honestly, like I'm looking forward to play GTA 6. I'm like, literally the trailer was pretty awesome. I did actually enjoy was watching the trailer, and honestly it did like what's called it literally passed over 100 million views in like within the what's called like within the week. And yes, it became one of the highest watched trailers like what's called on the internet. And plus, yeah, basically like just to let you guys know that the trailer did actually kind of what's called went viral on the internet because like people were what's called wanting to see the trailer until they end up just dropping it because well like since due to the fact that the leakers actually leaked the trailer, so Rockstar so what's gonna end up actually what just drop the trailer. So they just dropped it, and then well we finally got it. And honestly, like I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking forward to and play the game when it comes out in 2025. And well, guess that we gotta wait to see. But discussing about the game, basically GTA 5 was kind of different than the other Grand Theft Auto was games, like like basically with its what's called with their main protagonists, which is Michael, Franklin, and Trevor. Basically these characters became one of the popular what's called characters in what's called the series, and also even I guess in what's called and also even in the gaming genre as well, because basically these characters were presented like what's called represented, I guess different what's called represented, I guess kind of like literally like what's called these characters were actually kind of what's called represented, I guess, differently. Like, for example, like, Michael was actually a retired bank robber. Franklin was actually a young street hustler who wanted to get out of the what's called of the gang life. And for Trevor, well, what's called Trevor is actually the crazy one who's actually also runs an enterprise and he wants to become a businessman. And well, literally we did actually get to see some of that in what's called Grand Theft Auto Online, but like literally like what's called literally not that much. And basically, yeah, so literally like yeah, what's called the game's main protagonists were actually pretty likable, since basically for Michael he actually struggled between because what's called between his career and also how what's called struggling with his health. Franklin also kind of actually did struggle as well, because he actually wanted to like what's called wanted to go ahead and I guess what's called change, but he never did. And also with Trevor, basically Trevor had a hard time, I guess, well, basically try to go what's called trying to go ahead and find a group what's called to be with, until he ended up actually finding with Michael what's called and Trevor. And yeah, basically what's called like literally basically that's what made the characters more likable. I mean, they actually had issues. So but alongside discuss what then like literally these characters also had great what's called stories. I mean, basically both Michael and Trevor robbed the bank. What's called the game starts out with Michael and Trevor robbing a bank in a different state, which was 10 years before the events of the game. And also for Franklin, well, we're introduced we're introduced to Franklin in the beginning of the game, and then we follow him for a bit until we end up meeting Michael, and then what's called and then after that we also end up what's called meeting what's called Trevor. And like basically, and then what's called later on the three protagonists end up meeting, and then basically well it goes what's called literally basically the story takes on a different turn. And basically well like literally I know that people did kind of complain about the game's what's called like, story, because I don't know, I mean basically I know that the story was actually I would say like there's nothing wrong with it. Like the story kind of followed where basically Michael, Franklin, and Trevor were actually in the what's called we're stuck in the hole like with the corrupt agency, which was the FBI, because basically since these what's called like basically these protagonists were actually cut in the middle of a were cut in the middle of a what's called a corrupt agency, which is the FBI. And then basically they had to go ahead and pull down series of heists in order to stay alive. And then well literally towards throughout the game they basically they end up actually finding out that they can't even trust each other, since I guess this is with Trevor finding out that Michael betrayed him. And I guess that basically the three characters started to fall off. And I guess like since what's called I guess throughout the game they couldn't be able to trust each other. So yeah, literally that's what we also that's what the story also takes until once when the end of the game they end up actually defeating the main antagonist, and then they end up actually making peace. And then well that's where the story ends, which I'm not gonna lie, that what's called literally the story is actually pretty great, even though that I know people complain about it, but that's just a whole different issue, so it's fine. But literally, but alongside, I did actually kind of enjoy the game's story. But alongside, literally, like what I was going, and also alongside, since like on the was called literally basically what I did also was called like was called literally, and also was kind of pretty intriguing about the game is that the game also took inspiration of like from popular what's called movies and TV series. Like for example, like Michael, he was actually inspired by I guess Tony Soprano from The Sopranos, and well, alongside he was also inspired by the by Robert De Niro's character from the movie Heat, because his character was a bank robber. And well basically in the game of basically Michael was also a bank robber, and then he was also a family man as well, and he actually was struggling to go and balance those two what's called lives. And then also with Franklin, well Franklin was probably I guess inspired by one of the what's called one of I guess John Singleton's movies, which is actually Boys in the Hood, and also alongside with I guess like basically for like I guess for Franklin he was kind of like I would say he was inspired by what's called the Friday movies. I don't know if I would have put that in there, but I guess they kind of had like a kind of like basically kind of had like a different like honestly I don't know like order just like good I just ended up adding the movie 8 Mile, which was could be inspiring, which probably then could actually end up inspiring Franklin in GTA 5. But I don't know, I just ended up throwing what's called the movie 8 Mile, which started Eminem. And honestly, well, like literally, like if you guys have not seen the movie, well, go and check it out. Like it's kind of pretty great. And also, well, literally, and also alongside with with Trevor, basically Trevor could have probably been inspired by Walter White from breaking what's called from Breaking Bad, because basically since Walter White is actually a meth dealer, and like for Trevor, what's what's called for Trevor, he's also a drug dealer. So basically, I guess that's where they kind of got the inspiration from Trevor, which is from Breaking Bad. And well, like honestly, yeah, that right there, like it's actually kind of pretty great. And honestly, well, yeah, basically the game actually took a lot of what's called inspiration from movies and TV series, and well, alongside with real life events. And well, yeah, basically I guess that's what also made the game pretty great. I mean, basically these what's called the game was inspired by a lot of like what's called TV series and movies, and honestly what's called like literally that's what actually made the game great. So yeah, but anyway, moving on. Well, I'm actually discuss about the game. What I did kind of like about it, I mean, basically, it's actually set actually what's called in Los Santos, and basically, well, if you guys know, like the first time we actually seen Los Santos was actually in San Andreas, and then well, the game actually what's called the series returned to San Andreas in GTA 5, since like literally the last city which was in Liberty City, because I guess that the what's called the series was actually set back to Liberty City, and basically people what's called literally I guess they literally what's called they wanted to take, I guess that Rockstar wanted to take the next game to back to San Andreas, so they setting GTA 5 in Los Santos again. And honestly, well, honestly, here's the thing, it's actually kind of pretty great that they what's called setting the game in Los Santos, because like San Andreas is actually one of the popular cities in the series, so that's kind of pretty great. But alongside discuss about the game, I did actually kind of enjoyed it. I mean, I know that there's actually what's called basically the game's pretty great, and also like if you guys have not played it, well, go ahead and actually play it. I mean, I know that like it's been like 10 years, and I know that like since like Rockstar just announced GTA 6, so I mean like looking forward to go and play the game when it comes out in 2025. So yeah, but anyway, moving on. Well, there you have it, guys. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification, and I'll see you guys later.